Welcome to the Google Cloud update for the week of 17th of August, 2026. Today is Friday, August 21st, 2026, and we have an absolute mountain of updates to share from this week commencing Monday, August 17th. In today's episode, we will cover the massive launch of Antigravity AI coding agents for developers, major upgrades in BigQuery Analytics, some handy new networking options with the global front end, and crucial security updates across App Engine and Google Distributed Cloud. Let's dive in. Welcome back. First up, let's talk about AI, data, and analytics. We have a massive set of announcements for the Gemini Enterprise Agent platform. If you are an administrator or a developer, you're going to love this. Gemini Enterprise AI developer tools now feature anti-gravity for IDEs in eligible editions. This brings the power of autonomous anti-gravity AI coding agents directly into your favorite development environments like VS Code, JetBrains, and Zed. These agents can research codebases, run local builds, and execute end-to-end tasks securely. Plus, to make integration even smoother, all surfaces now support Workforce Identity Federation and application default credentials so engineers can log in using their existing enterprise identity. And speaking of identity, if you use Okta as your external identity provider with Workforce Identity Federation, you can now configure SCIM, or System for Cross-Domain Identity Management. This enables autocomplete when sharing Gemini Notebook Enterprise notebooks and agents, meaning you can search for colleagues without typing their full email addresses. We also have Gemini 3.6 Flash generally available in the US and European multi-regions, and the mobile app now supports Gemini 3.7 Flash natively. For web app users, the interactive Canvas assistant is generally available. Canvas is a dedicated interactive workspace that lets you create and edit AI-generated documents and presentations directly from your chats, and then export them to Google Workspace, Microsoft Office, or PDF. We are also seeing general availability for registering agent to UI, or A2UI, and agent to agent, or A to A, protocols, including support for A2UI version 0.9. And on the seat management side, subscription limits are now capped depending on your billing account type, up to 25 seats for self-serve accounts and 1,000 seats for invoiced accounts. Also, there is a major security update for Workbench v2 on the Gemini Enterprise Agent platform. The basis image has been updated to CUDA 12.9.2 and CUDNN 9.10, alongside patched versions of RubyGem's ReXML and NetIMAP, addressing known vulnerabilities. Furthermore, Jupyter Lab 3 has been removed from Python 3.12 custom containers, so Jupyter Lab 4 is now the standard. Lastly, Agent Identity VPC service controls integration and custom organization policies for agent identity are now generally available. This includes custom constraints like agentidentity.googleapis.com/authprovider, and to wrap up the Gemini Enterprise permissions, the platform has added permissions like aiplatform.tasks.cancel, create, delete, get, list, and update. Let's switch gears to BigQuery. Specifically, you can use ml.trend to identify directional trajectories, ml.seasonality to spot repeating patterns, and ml.detect change points to identify structural shifts. Also in preview, the runBQ command tool is exposed inside the Cloud CLI remote MCP server, allowing AI agents to manage BigQuery operations, schedule jobs, and configure reservations. And to support these workflows, the default project limit for user-specific reservation assignments has been increased from 10 to 100. On the role side, the BigQuery Studio admin role has added several permissions for Gemini data analytics, .dataagents.chat, delete, get list, and update. However, take note, core graph processing for BigQuery Graph will be restricted to Enterprise and Enterprise Plus editions starting April 26, 2027. This means Standard Edition and on-demand billing are being deprecated for Core Graph, though graph measures will remain available. In database analytics, AlloyDB observability is getting a boost. You can now use the open-source Model Context Protocol toolbox for databases to access AlloyDB observability features and advanced query insights directly in your IDE, facilitating seamless natural language agentic workflows. For workflows in Dataform, the remote MCP server is now generally available, giving AI agents tools to manage, execute, and troubleshoot data transformations. Meanwhile, Dataflow's Job Builder now supports Delta Lake tables as a source. You can import Delta Lake tables directly from cloud storage into Lakehouse for Apache Iceberg using the Dataflow UI without writing a single line of code. For Bigtable users, you can now use the Allow Incomplete View query hint in SQL queries to read data from continuous materialized views before initial population completes, a feature that has officially reached general availability. Over in Knowledge Catalog, the Service Agent role has been updated. It now includes permissions for managed service for Apache Spark agents and tasks, such as dataproc.agents.create, delete, get, list, and update. And finally, the Data Lineage API now supports datalineage.processrevisions.delete, get, insert, and list in custom roles. To round off our data updates, Looker, Google Cloud Core versions 26.14 and 26.12 are starting to deploy. Also, a quick reminder, the legacy standalone Spectacle service will be discontinued on November 30th, 2026, as Looker has natively integrated Spectacle's features directly into its continuous integration pipeline. Welcome back. Next up, let's explore compute, databases, and infrastructure. Let's start with App Engine, Cloud Run, and Cloud Functions. There is massive news for developers. Support for the Go 1.27 runtime is now in preview across all three environments. Even better, starting from Go version 1.26, Google Cloud's lifecycle support dates align much more closely with the Go community's official release cycle, giving you more predictability for upgrades. Also, the App Engine flexible environment is getting a security boost. Starting this month, the built-in sidecar container for connecting to Cloud SQL uses Cloud SQL Auth Proxy version 2. This delivers up-to-date security patches and support for MySQL 8.4 and later. To use this immediately, simply restart your VMs or deploy a new version of your application. If you're using App Engine Standard, you can now migrate push queues to Cloud Tasks by simply updating the Bundled Services SDK, currently in preview for Go 1.12 Standard and Java Generation 2. This is incredible because it requires absolutely zero changes to your application code. Plus, migrating from the App Engine Images service to Cloud Run is now generally available. Next, let's look at Google Kubernetes Engine. For node pools running GKE version 1.36.3 and later, the minimum supported boot disk size is now 15 gigabytes, up from 12 gigabytes. Additionally, Google Distributed Cloud Software Only for VMware has released a critical update. Running on Kubernetes, this release patches several security vulnerabilities and fixes a bug where user clusters got stuck in a reconciling state during admin upgrades. It also resolves a dangerous issue where retrying a failed advanced cluster upgrade could wipe encryption keys, blocking the control plane from decrypting etcd secrets. File permissions on Registry CA certificates have also been updated so non-root processes can read them successfully. If you use Managed Cloud Service Mesh, take note. Directly onboarded clusters using the Traffic Director implementation now default to distroless proxy images, and other image types are not supported. Migrated clusters default to default images, but you can opt into distroless via mesh config. Over in storage, Cloud Storage has introduced a vital project deletion safety net. If you delete a project, any buckets that have soft delete enabled are now temporarily retained. If you restore the project within that window, your buckets are restored exactly as they were. Crisis averted! For file storage, Google Cloud NapApp Volumes is now officially compliant with the Canada Controlled Goods Program for standard, premium, and extreme tiers. Speaking of compliance and support, there is a deprecation for batch. The batch Debian 11 OS image family has reached its end of development because Debian 11 Bullseye officially reaches its end of life on August 31st, 2026.
If you're still running Bullseye, it's time to upgrade. And for databases, the Database Migration Service now supports MySQL version 9.7 for homogeneous migrations. Finally, in Compute Engine IAM, new permissions are available for managing recoverable snapshots and snap recycle bin policies, including compute.recoverable-snapshots.delete, get, list, and recover. Welcome back. For our final segment, let's dive into networking, security, and observability. We have some big updates for network management. Google Cloud has launched a preview of the Global Front-End solution. The Global Front-End is a unified offering that consolidates pricing across Cloud CDN, Global External Application Load Balancer, Google Cloud Armor, and service extensions. This simplifies billing by bundling these products together. If you enable Global Front-End Enterprise, specific Cloud Armor Enterprise features are automatically enabled for your Global External Application Load Balancers. Speaking of Cloud CDN, it now supports the Targeted CDN Cache Control HTTP response header based on RFC 9213. You can use this header to specify caching directives specifically for CDN edge caches without affecting browser-level caching. Also, Private Service Connect endpoints and backends are now generally available to access multi-regional service endpoints like storage.us, .representative.googleapis.com, simplifying hybrid and multi-cloud data transport. In observability, Cloud Trace has got a massive capability boost. The API limits for trace collections have been dramatically increased to match the Open Telemetry Protocol. Spans now support up to 1,024 attributes, attribute value sizes up to 65,532 bytes, attribute keys up to 512 bytes, span names up to 1,024 bytes, and up to 256 events per span. And for logs, the Cloud Logging Telemetry API is generally available. You can now ingest OTLP logs directly into Cloud Logging using an Open Telemetry Collector or an OTLP exporter. On the security front, next-generation Firewall has restored support for the Advanced Malware Sandbox, also known as Wildfire, in the NGFW Enterprise tier. Currently in preview, it performs deep inspection of network-routed file transfers to block zero-day malware before it impacts your workloads. For data protection, Sensitive Data Protection has expanded its image scanning capability, which is now supported in the Europe North 1 and US Central 1 regions. If you have sovereign or regulatory requirements, Assured Workloads has made the Data Boundary for Canada Controlled Goods Program control package generally available. Let's look at the remaining IAM updates. First, Cloud FTP admin and viewer rules have reached general availability, introducing permissions like ftp.locations.get and ftp.servers.create. Second, Policy Simulator has added permissions for simulating and evaluating policy changes, including policysimulator.activity.backtest.results.search and evaluation tools. Third, Google Security Operations has added tag subscriptions permissions supported in custom roles and made several tenant-level permissions generally available. Fourth, Financial Services has generally released tag binding permissions like financialservices.vrs1 instances.create tag binding. Fifth, Device Run has added permissions for devices, locations, operations, and sessions, such as devicerun.sessions.create. Sixth, the Production Actuation Service now supports permissions for managing Uber proxy services. To finish off today's news, Google Cloud Contact Center as a Service version 6.3 is officially here. The update features new support for session, agent, and customer parameters in custom panel URLs in the agent desktop. It also gives administrators greater control over callback offers, allowing them to restrict callbacks from being offered outside of operating hours. And for enterprise ERP workloads, Cortex Release 7.0.3 resolved an issue where the SAP BDC product builder incorrectly enforced version-specific sections in table settings. And that's a wrap for this week's Google Cloud Update. From Antigravity AI agents in your IDEs to the arrival of the Go 1.27 runtime and the rollout of the new global front-end billing system, there's a lot of powerful new capability to explore. Thanks for tuning in. We hope these updates help you build faster, scale smarter, and secure your cloud footprints even tighter. Have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you next week for another dose of Google Cloud news.